Saturday on Denver 7 News.
We remain committed to defend our home. We resist.
Military assistance is flooding into Ukraine from around the globe this weekend as the invasion of Russian troops inches closer to Ukraine's capital. Back here at home, the fully vaccinated are encouraged to return to life as normal.
By all means, do it. Live your life, don't feel guilty.
How some are cautiously optimistic, but optimistically adjusting back. And later, this week's everyday hero, Angel, is living up to her name and helping her peers get an education. Good Saturday morning to you. We hope you're having a great start to your weekend. I'm Micah Smith and welcome to Denver 7 News. If you plan on stepping outside today, make sure you bundle up. That sun, absolutely gorgeous in the sky, but it is deceiving. Let's bring in meteorologist Stacy Donaldson. Stacy, very cold start, but a warm up is on the way.
That's right, and we're in the midst of the warm up now. We were in the deep freeze last week. Today we'll get up to about 40 degrees, and then 60s are in store for us next week. But our current temperatures in the teens and 20s, and you factor in the wind chill, feels like it's about 12 at DIA. Just last hour it was 1 below, so we're even seeing improvement there. 34 below wind chill at Berthoud Pass, and it feels like 17 for Fort Collins. And across the eastern plains, temperatures feel like they're mostly in the single digits and teens, and then 0 and below in places up in the high country. As for our wake up forecast, temperatures in the 20s through about 10 a.m. and then we're into the 30s for much of the rest of the day. We're expecting a high of 40 degrees with mostly sunny skies this afternoon. Nice clear skies all across the state, so everyone enjoying a lot of sunshine, and especially here around the Front Range. 39 in Littleton, 40 in Denver, and 38 in Aurora. But we will be talking more about those 60s in the forecast coming up.
We have breaking news this hour. Search and rescue crews are out in the high country near Aspen after an avalanche hit in Marble Friday afternoon. 3 people were found alive near Yule Creek, but 1 person is still missing. We spoke to that missing person's family, who gave us pictures of their loved one. This is Nate Schmidt. He's from Colorado Springs. He's 6 feet tall, has brown hair and blue eyes. He also has 2 dogs with him. Their names are Bee and Kenai. He's an experienced outdoorsman. His family tells us he's an Eagle Scout, a certified EMT, and an underwater diver with special breath training that keeps core temperatures regular in cold environments. And if you're in the Marble area, Schmidt's family is asking you to keep an eye out for him. The Pitkin County Sheriff's Office says the group was snowshoeing when the avalanche began. If you have any information, please contact police. We continue to follow developments out of Ukraine this morning. UK forces are now in Eastern Europe to help reinforce NATO's Eastern Front. The capital city of Kyiv will be under a strict curfew until Monday, and a missile hit an apartment building in Kyiv, Ukraine, earlier today. This as Russian troops continue to move toward Ukraine's capital. Ukraine's president says the country has, quote, withstood and successfully repelled enemy attacks so far. Kyiv officials say fighting has broken out in the streets against Russian invaders, and they encourage residents in the area to seek shelter. This comes as President Biden authorized up to $350 million in additional security and military assistance for Ukraine. The country's president is encouraging his citizens to stand firm as the Russian invasion continues. Here's ABC's Christine Sloan.
The situation in Ukraine is growing more urgent as the Russian troops invading the country push toward the capital of Ukraine. Friday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke to people across his country, urging them to, quote, burn down enemies' tanks and armor with whatever means. And Ukrainians are answering the call. Alexei Goncharenko, a prominent Ukrainian lawmaker, is among them.
I don't want to fight. I'm not soldier. I'm not professional military man. But I am not ready to capitulate. That's the difference.
Authorities have handed out 18,000 weapons and are teaching people how to make Molotov cocktails. Meantime, Ukraine's ambassador to the United States remains defiant.
We remain committed to defend our home. We resist. We will not surrender our capital to the enemy.
And as the Russian invasion continues, a humanitarian disaster is unfolding. The UN says hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians are now on the move. This family making a 30-hour trek to the Polish border.
I want to come back, but I don't know if we're going to come back.
And the effort to punish Russia continues. The U.S. and the EU are now sanctioning Russian President Vladimir Putin and his foreign minister Sergei Lavrov directly. And at the UN Security Council, a U.S. and Albania-led resolution to condemn Russia for invading Ukraine failed after Russia vetoed it. The United Arab Emirates, India, and China all abstained.
History will judge us for our actions or lack thereof. But at a minimum, at the very minimum, the rest of us have an obligation to object.
The U.S. will now take the resolution to the UN General Assembly. Christine Sloan, ABC News, New York.
There is another rally in support of peace in Ukraine today. Ukrainians of Colorado hosted a different rally last weekend. Today's event starts at 11 a.m. at the Capitol. Those organizing say they're standing up to the aggression overseas and want to focus on unity and peace. We're going to continue our coverage of the developments out of Ukraine in our next half hour. Time is now 9:06. Return to life as normal. It's easier said than done, but that is the message from Governor Jared Polis Friday. As we near the 2-year mark in this pandemic, the governor is hoping Coloradans can resume a sense of normalcy and live life freely. He says he's also working with health leaders to normalize this virus.
The virus is here and will likely be here for the rest of our lives. But it is time to acknowledge that we've reached a point in Colorado where Coloradans who are fully vaccinated can freely live without undue fear. So if you choose to go without your mask or attend a concert with your friends or simply go out to dinner and you're fully vaccinated, then by all means do it. Live your life, don't feel guilty. You only live once. The virus isn't gone.
So let's take a closer look at the numbers. State health leaders say more than 90% of Coloradans are immune to the Omicron variant, the most prevalent variant in our state. The state's 7-day positivity rate is below that 5% threshold, which we haven't seen in nearly 7 months. And the good news is a majority of Coloradans are vaccinated. More than 80% have received at least 1 dose. Even with these encouraging case trends and words from our state's leaders, local restaurants and businesses say they are still struggling. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us now. Christian, what are some barriers these owners are facing moving forward?
Yeah, even though we are hearing this good news from state leaders, one business owner we spoke with says that there doesn't seem to be an end in sight when it comes to the issues he's been facing since this pandemic started. Now, we talked to the owner of Carmine's in Denver, and he says he does think this is going to make people more comfortable going out to restaurants, but he says he's still facing the same obstacles he's been dealing with for the past 2 years.
The supply chains are a disaster. The escalation of pricing is outrageous. There's still a continuing issue with labor. There are things I've ordered months and months and months ago. I have no idea if or when they're going to arrive.
Businesses like his will likely take a while to rebound from these lasting impacts of the pandemic. Meanwhile, state health experts are saying that this new move forward will make it easier for people to focus on what's best for themselves instead of a one-size-fits-all approach. Reporting live in Denver this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
All right, thank you, Christian. And students in Denver public schools will not have to wear masks to school starting Monday. The district says it's ending its mask mandate after the city's health department saw a rapid decrease in cases and a vaccination rate in Denver of nearly 80%.
We will let the science and the numbers drive our decisions just like they have in the past. If there is another spike and we see another variant that comes in and we need to put our masks back on for the safety of our students and our staff, that's exactly what we'll do.
DPS is one of the last districts in the metro to end mask mandates. Some elementary school students have the opportunity to be part of a swimming program that's the first of its kind today. Plus, it's closing night for some metro high school students where you can catch Beauty and the Beast before curtain call.